Yeah. What it do, snackers and snackers? It's your boy Gage. This is Loading Snacks Weekly. I'm brought to you via Hangout, which is what we doing these days,
Yeah.
right?
Hanging out.
New jokes in the building,
Yo, yo, yo.
Coops in the building.
What's good?
And weekly is not really different in terms of what it is, but we'll each bring something to the table to discuss. This go around, we're just going to talk a little bit about gaming on my end. Jokes is going to discuss some Hell in the Cell wrestling stuff, and Coop, we're gonna talk about what will happen to the Justice League with no Superman in existence. So, yeah, we got some good conversation coming for you all. That's what it's gonna be, and I would like to start by talking about these games that are coming out for this year, this holiday. I want to know what you guys are most excited for. I'm gonna start with you, Coop, because you don't play any games, so I think it's important. I mean, you're supposed to play games. You say you play games. I see you playing games sometimes. What game? What were you playing today when I talked to you?
Gears of War 4.
You love me some Gears of War.
I don't know. I've always loved
the all he
running
has,
gun.
That's all he has.
That explains
That's the game he has. You know what I mean? I love the running gun. Not Overwatch. He does play Halo a lot. Halo 5
Yeah,
a lot.
I do get Halo on. I mean, because I'm waiting for the new one. So that's...
Yeah, but you know what? We're not doing this.
All right.
What are you looking forward to this year? There's no Halo coming this year, and there's no Gears of War.
Nope.
So I'm not excited for anything. No.
Right.
Wow. Well,
no, but yeah, there we go. No, but yeah, I'm really excited for Red Dead. I really loved the first one. That was just a whole new experience for me. With taking the Grand Theft Auto side of things and taking it to the West, it was just like I would rather do this than any Grand Theft Auto any day. And
really, why? Really?
Because it's the atmosphere. It's the atmosphere. It's just the.
Do you watch a lot of? I mean, I know you're a movie guy, right? Do you watch a lot of westerns? Like, is that a thing?
I used to. Yeah, it used to be a thing with me and my father. We used to watch a lot of westerns, and
okay.
And then I watch Westworld too. So it's just like your own Westworld inside of this game now. So if you think about it.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So that's the biggie for you.
That's the big one.
Okay.
In Assassin's Creed Odyssey that comes out on my birthday, so yeah. I'm just hoping somebody will scoop that for me.
Not happening. Not happening, bro. As a matter of fact, you're not even getting any birthday money until that day to go get the joint. Like, you need to put the APB out. Like, can everybody send their cards to me like a week early? Wink, wink.
Yeah.
So I can get that money, right? What about you, Jokes?
I definitely agree with Coop on both of those. Definitely for the Red Dead.
Wait a minute. You agree with Coop on something?
I was waiting for
I actually agree with them on this.
Okay.
One thing different that I am looking forward to.
History.
Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Now, of course, I played Call of Duty. I haven't been. World War was pretty decent, but before that, I've kind of been out of the Call of Duty loop for a while. But from playing the beta for Black Ops 4, I'm actually excited to get my hands on it. For me, since it's more of a multiplayer experience now without single player campaign, I'm perfectly fine with playing for that. So it doesn't bother me at all that there's not going to be a missing single player campaign, even though I enjoy playing through the single player campaign.
Okay.
Also, I am looking forward towards a couple things for my Switch because I only have like 2-3 games on it right now. So, Pokemon Let's Go, the Eevee and the Pikachu.
Are you getting both of those?
See, I don't
They're
know.
the same game, bruh.
See, like in the past with Pokemon games, it was like when you got each of them, there was different Pokemon on each of them. They haven't been as clear about that just yet. If I can catch this,
I feel like they've been pretty clear that they're the same game. You just either start with Eevee or start with Pikachu.
Exactly. So as of now, I'm only copying one. I'm only going to get
Which
one.
one? Which one?
Pikachu.
Is it Pikachu?
Yeah, getting Pikachu.
Most people seem to be on the Eevee. Like that's what I keep. I mean, that's what I see people post a lot. Is like, okay.
Yeah, I would pick Eevee over Pikachu. I mean, that's just my personal.
Do you even know any of the other? I was about to say, do you even know any of the other evolutions for Eevee other than like the basic 3 from Gen 1?
No, Gen 1 is all I know.
That's what I thought.
I know there are other elements, and I was interested for like 3 seconds, and then my life went on. So
I can tell you that what I know about Eevee is that at Katsucon they did a Eevee lingerie shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
We definitely got some pictures and photos.
That's all. Yeah. That's all the evolution. What do you mean? Coop didn't know about those evolutions. What are you talking about? Yeah. Okay. So, like, are you anticipating Pokemon more? Like, is that the big one for you?
I wouldn't even say that's the big one. Like, I'm probably looking forward towards. It's got to be between Red Dead and Call of Duty for me. I feel like with Call of Duty, once I get on it and get online and just start playing multiplayer all the time, I feel like I'm just going to get consumed by that. It just depends on how.
I think you're going to get both.
I am going to get both. Oh, no, absolutely. I'm going to get both.
No, not both.
Bored.
Oh, bored?
Bored.
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out.
And I don't think you're going to play Pokemon. I think, you know what? I feel like you have this Switch, but you don't, like, I don't know. I feel like you don't travel enough to really use it.
No,
like, I feel like you're in the kind of boat that I'm in. Like, part of the reason why I wasn't, like, getting the Switch wasn't a big deal for me in the beginning is because, like, I drive everywhere I go. Like, I don't, like, portable game systems has not been a thing for me. Honestly, probably since like Game Gear. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Game Boy Color.
Listen, I never had a Game Boy Color because I didn't need one. Like, by the time like Game Boy Advance came out, like, dude, I was grown, and I drive everywhere. Like, I never took public transportation. Like, you know what I'm saying? When I was a child and I had to ride everywhere I went, like, having a portable game system was a thing. But I have always been a console gamer through and through. And so it's weird because it's like everybody I know who has a Switch makes a really big deal about how great these games are being portable. And like it's cool that like my daughter can take it and play when she's riding with me. You know what I'm saying? But like for me, I would only play it attached to my TV, and I don't really want to. I don't like when I'm on my TV. Most of what Nintendo puts out, like I would rather be playing. Like I only turned on my PS4 to play God of War and Spider-Man, right? And everything else I play on the Xbox. And there are some exclusives on Switch, but most of the exclusives were available on the Wii U, which is still attached to the TV. I don't do anything with it, but it's still there. So anyway.
Yeah, that's how I felt about the Vita. Yeah. When the Vita came out, I was an adult at the time, and I was like, I bought it, and I was like, I really had no purpose because
back when you were an adult.
back when I was an adult.
All right, that explains a lot, Coop.
Yeah.
Benjamin Button.
Real talk. Yeah. So oddly enough, I'm anticipating Red Dead. I'm not excited. Like I'm like. I know it's going to be good. It's one of those things where it's like, I'm not positive about what the wow factor is really going to be. Like, I've seen all these trailers. They look great. The story elements and stuff that they're doing seem like they're going to be really, really dope and awesome. clearly it's a cool world that I could get lost in, but it just feels like another game that I'll start, but I won't complete because I have that like completionist thing. So like when you get into one of those worlds and you need to do everything, like Rockstar packs their games with ridiculousness as far as things to run around and do, and like stuff that stops you on the way to go do something, and whatever. And to be honest with you, there are certain elements of what they're talking about with Red Dead that I feel like are going to be overwhelming to me. Like, I don't necessarily want to play a Red Dead where I have to make sure I go back to my camp and check in and make sure I'm keeping people happy and whatever. Like, one of the things that I thought it was cool that it was there at the time, but one of the things that I like the least about Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is stuff like, oh, you have to eat and you have to work out, and if you work out too much, you get big. If you eat too much, you get fat. If whatever. Like, I thought it was cool, but like having to maintain those things, even in like Grand Theft Auto 4, the like dating simulation and having to maintain, like, if she calls you while you're on your way to a mission, you need to respond to it, and you got to go pick her up and have the dates and whatever. And it just felt like, sure, I guess it's a real thing that could be considered part of real life and a distraction, whatever, but it felt like more of a distraction in the game to me. And so while I am expecting to be thoroughly impressed with Red Dead, I'm positive there's gonna be something I find in it that I'm gonna be like, oh my god, like these cats are the kings of making games. But I actually feel like I'm mostly anticipating like Soul Calibur 6. But as a fighting game, there's not a lot to it. Like, I'm gonna get in, I'm gonna play it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna run through it with my favorite characters or whatever. But I'm probably right now anticipating Hitman 2.
Okay.
More than anything else. Now that Spider-Man is already out, you know what I mean? And Tomb Raider is already out. So with what's left to come, Hitman's probably the thing that I'm looking forward to the most, partially because the style of those games, there's so much replayability. You know what I mean? There's so many different ways to complete the mission, to kill the target, whatever. And if they do it anywhere close to what they did with the last one, where like, people could upload their own targets and stuff like that, like, it's gonna be pretty dope. So I feel like that's what I'm looking forward to the most. But that's enough about that, because we know that these games are coming and we're gonna have a blast with them, and we'll talk more about those as they drop for sure. I need to hear about this Hell in a Cell, man. I know Hell in a Cell is tonight. Here we are recording, and you're not watching it. I mean, you might be watching it. You're probably watching it while we do this.
It could be going on in the background somewhere. Just maybe on mute.
There's no reflection in your glasses or nothing. With people getting beat up in the background of the joints or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Heads up for all y'all who wear glasses like we do. You don't play cards when you're wearing your glasses.
Nope.
We can see your deck. You can see your hand. So, so yeah, I mean, talk to me about what's going on with Hell in a Cell and how you're feeling about it. What's going on with that?
Gotcha. So, for the night for Hell in a Cell, we have 8 matches going down. So 7 of them actually on the main show, and then 1 was for the pre-show. Pre-show match was actually for the tag team championships. It was the New Day versus Aiden English and Rusev.
How'd it turn out? Wait, that was the pre-joint?
That was the pre-show match.
How did New Day get relegated to the pre-show?
So what WWE does now for the pre-show, if you don't have the WWE Network, you can watch the pre-show on YouTube, Facebook. You can view that one match before the main show comes on. So
they're a main attraction for everybody.
Yeah. So pretty much they're going to put someone like the New Day on this, I guess, to try to pull people in thinking, this is what we're seeing here. Maybe we're going to get a lot more from the main show. And by all means, of course, the New Day absolutely puts on the show. Same thing. I love Rusev. I think his character is awesome. Same thing with Aiden English. I will give props, of course. New Day did win. They retained their titles.
Awesome. Okay.
And of course,
who were they fighting? Who were they wrestling?
Rusev, Rusev, and Aiden English.
All right. Okay. I don't know who that is, but okay.
I got you. So,
Okay.
now, and of course, now this is the Hell in a Cell pay per view. Now that match wasn't actually in a Hell in a Cell match.
Of course it wasn't.
But
it was a
pre-show match.
I mean, isn't that normal? Like you don't have a Hell in a Cell match as the pre-show, right?
You wouldn't think, but here's the issue. So 7 matches on the main card. Out of all 7 of those matches, only 2 of them are actually going to be Hell in a Cell matches. Only 2.
Now, okay, you seem a little frustrated about that.
Okay, so here's like let me. I don't want to go on a rant because I want to actually talk about what's going on right now. But
okay,
Hell in a Cell used to be one of those things where it was like it was a special match. So it was that one-on type of occasion, like Undertaker, Shawn, whoever it was. So it was like, oh snap, we're getting a Hell in a Cell match. Oh snap! But now it's it's a yearly thing. It's a yearly pay-per-view, and it just doesn't have that same wow factor like it used to when it was just like, it just doesn't have that same wow factor.
Yeah, because it like you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, you fine.
But it was like I mean, because I used to watch wrestling as much as you did, so I understand like the Hell in a Cell was like so rare, like, and it was so rare. But when you heard it, you was like, oh, I don't care what's going on, I gotta catch this Hell in a Cell. And then with it being like you said a yearly thing now, it kind of loses the amp to it, So
as a matter of fact, it's the 10th Hell in a Cell. Like I kind of lost count. This is actually the 10th anniversary of Hell in a Cell, the actual pay-per-view, and I'm just like, jeez, like I didn't even realize they've done this pay-per-view 10 times already, or 9 times now.
So are you like it's the 10th Hell in a Cell and y'all couldn't just give me 10 Hell in a Cell matches? What's up?
But for the actual 2 Hell in a Cell matches, it's going to be the main event, which is going to be Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. The other Hell in a Cell match, which already happened, was Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton. Now, being Jeff Hardy's in a Hell in a Cell match, I was like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen with this. But they took it. They didn't take it to the outside of the cage. So sadly, no cage was broken during the match. I guess they're going to save that for the main event. They're not going to let.
What's going to happen?
It's got to happen.
Yeah.
But otherwise, they still use a bunch of weapons. So there's still ladders and chairs and tables and all that good stuff under the ring, even though they're inside of a cage. Randy Orton did go on to win the match. Jeff tried to do some crazy stuff.
How old is Jeff doing all this crazy stuff?
He had Randy Orton on the table. He set up 2 ladders, a big one and a small one, with the idea of hopping from the small one over the bigger one and landing on Randy Orton. So once he got up there, he realized it wasn't going to work because the cage was literally like
too high.
So if he'd have jumped over or tried to jump over, his head would have hit the top of the cage and we would have had a bad sight. So he ended up just climbing the top of the big ladder. He grabbed the top of it was like a bar. He literally grabbed the bar and he started swinging. And I was just like, okay, what is he trying to do? So he started swinging. Clearly he knew he was going to try to swanton bomb or something from the top of the Hell in a Cell cage all the way down. He ended up just doing a belly flop. Randy Orton rolled out of the way and Jeff just went square through the table. It was a bad sight, actually. It was a bad sight.
Yeah, can I say listen, Hell in a Cell matches should still be like a pinnacle of like, and I really feel like when you do Hell in a Cell, it should only be one match. There's the final match. Exactly. The main event should be a Hell in a Cell. There shouldn't be any other Hell in a Cell matches. Everything else should just be something that leads up to it, which I feel like is the way it used to be, like when I cared, which
it was on like
I haven't in a long time.
Instead of just having the pay-per-view being Hell in a Cell, like it was like WrestleMania or Survivor Series or one of those where it was like, yo, Hell in a Cell is going down. It was like, yo.
Yeah, because you can only imagine with having multiple Hell in a Cell matches, the one that goes first is not going to be as hardcore as the second one.
You would think that.
Really?
But
Okay.
there have been in the past, like, because there's when you look at certain stars, now you have your, like, say they hold the championship belt, your heavyweights. So
Hmm.
they're not as, I don't want to say as mobile, but they're more of that ground and pound type style wrestling and fighting versus when you have like some of like your tag teams and folks like that inside of the cage, things typically get a little bit wilder and crazy.
Hmm.
Now, like say taking it back to like a Triple H Mankind type of thing, they were just crazy or whatnot ever. But I'm just a little upset that the WWE Championship actually is not in the Hell in a Cell match. So the Universal title is, but the actual WWE Championship isn't. Because of
Is the
now,
championship match after the Hell in a Cell match?
no. So I don't know if you're, so they did the brand split. So of course, different
Right.
superstars on Raw and SmackDown. When they did the brand split, they had a tournament to figure out where the WWE Championship would land at. So it ended up on SmackDown. So they created the Universal Championship to be that same type of belt on Raw. So because now Raw is the flagship show, the Universal title is kind of supposed to be the main belt, and then the WWE Championship is like the stepchild now. And it's like it doesn't get
That's dumb.
it doesn't get the same show that it used to. Now, granted, the WWE Championship is on AJ Styles, so I mean it's on a high tier wrestler, and he took on Samoa Joe, which I mean by all means that match was absolutely awesome. AJ won.
I mean, clearly, you said he has the belt. Like, I mean,
I guess I should have said that's who it was on before the match, but he still won. But now the Universal title is supposed to be the flagship belt. Now Brock had it for like almost 500 days. And
yeah, I don't like Brock Lesnar. We don't have to talk about him.
Cool. I'm perfectly fine with that. He finally lost the belt. We'll say that.
I'm good with that.
The belt's on Roman Reigns now. So Roman Reigns is going to take on Braun.
I don't think I like Roman Reigns either, but all right.
You're fine with that as well. I'm perfectly fine with that assumption as well, too.
I don't watch wrestling, but there's something about these dudes. Like, I'm just like, I don't, you know what? It can, you know what? I'm going to interrupt you. And I'm going to tell you why I'm going to interrupt you.
Breaking news.
Wrestling, listen, straight up, spoiler alert. I stopped watching wrestling, like, seriously, a long time ago, right? Even though it still holds in my heart, right? Like, it is the one true sport, right? Like, the realest, most honest sport, right? Because you know exactly what you're getting when you watch wrestling. And I'm totally bothered by, like, I feel like so many of these people who are wrestlers now just don't have any personality. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no personalities. Like, all these Bama's got regular names. You know what I'm saying? Like, they all, like, I never liked wrestlers with regular names. I don't care who you are. I don't want to know your government name. I don't care about that. Like, Bama's who wrestle with government names, like rappers who use their regular name, they weak. I don't care who you are. You weak. You need a stage name, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody would listen to Marshall Mathers.
I was just thinking the same.
Screw that dude. Nobody wants to hear Slim. You know what I'm saying? They want to hear Slim Shady. They want to hear M&M. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody wants to hear Marshall Mathers. Nobody wants to hear Sean Carter. That's not a thing. Like, if you're going to be a wrestler and you're going to have a personality, and like, when you're a dude, you just come out in like regular draws, like you just wear like black underwear, you know what I'm saying? Like straight Speedos, and you come out and you in good shape. I almost don't care how athletic you are or how good you are. You bland to me. You know what I'm saying? Roman Reigns, bland to me. Like, this dude is supposed to be like Count Dracula or something like that. Like, this man got the long hair or whatever. Like, he need to have an accent. You know what I'm saying? And come out, whatever. Like, for real, like, I don't like Brock Lesnar because I actually think in real life he's not a cool, like, I feel like he's a jerk or something. Like,
no, I feel the
all
same.
that kind of stuff. Like, but like when I was watching, like, Roddy Piper, that's a wrestling name. Macho Man Randy Savage, that's a wrestling name. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, that's a wrestling name. Junkyard Dog, that's a wrestling name. Hulk Hogan, that's a wrestling name. It could be a real name, but everybody knows that's not a real name. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's actually named Hulk. I'm just saying, like, even when there were people, like, yes, we know who Bret Hart is, but he wasn't Bret Hart. He was Bret the Hitman Hart. Like, that's real. The British Bulldog, like, that's a wrestling name. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me know you coming with something. Like, come on, Daniel Bryan, you got 2 first names. I mean, that's maybe creative. That's not a real thing, though. That's like his first name and his middle name or whatever.
You know what his real name is, don't you?
Yes. No.
Yes.
It's backwards. His real name is Bryan Danielson. Danielson.
This is where
that
the creativity
sounds better,
is.
actually.
Are you telling me that like the most creative person in the joint is the Miz? That's the most, and he's a beast. You know what I'm saying? Like, he
is. I love them. I love the Miz. He's the reason
why. Nah, listen. When John Cena first came out and he was like that Terminator dude, you know what I'm saying? He was like the robot Bama. You remember that? Do you know about that?
Wait, what do you mean the robot Bama?
Yo, listen. John Cena's original character, when he first came into the WWE, he was like the Terminator. My man came out like on some, I'm not even joking, dog. Look this up. You're supposed to know this.
I feel like
my man came out.
That's why I find this funny.
My man came out with the straight buzz cut joint and was supposed to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, he was supposed to be.
Oh no! Like, his first time that he showed up was when
he's a rapper, right?
He fought. No. So before that, he came out to wrestle Kurt Angle. His first time on TV. Well, this was on TV. Let me put it that way.
I seen this Bama come out and wrestle. It was a black Bama with dreads. I can't think of his name right now. It was a pre-card joint. It was like, might have been like 2001, something like that. It was here at the Verizon Center, and my man came out. I'm telling you, dog, look him up. Look into it. Anyway, I'm just saying, like, there's only so much you can expect out of something that's Hell in a Cell when it's 10 years in, and they feel like they've done everything to go over the top or whatever. Right. And the personalities that exist are like, even like Triple H, at least it's a cool, like, there's something to it. At least there's triple alliteration, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Like, there's something to that. You know what I'm saying? People with like a regular name are supposed to be like the corporate Bammers who you're supposed to hate.
Right.
You're supposed to hate Stephanie McMahon. Like, she's a regular joint. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard for me to get behind it. Like, it just, I need the fanfare. You know what I'm saying? Like, part of what made pro wrestling so dope is the over the topness of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ric Flair is a it sounds like it's a regular name, but it's not.
It's not.
You know what I'm saying? It's not. But he sold it. You know what I mean? Like, Arn Anderson, that ain't no real name, dog, but that joint's tight. You know what I mean? Like, it's just something to it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, it bothers me that like the ingenuity and the creativity in the spirit of these people, like, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist, man. You know what I mean? Like, I'm from the Undertaker era, Rock and Roll Express, Legion of Doom. Like, I'm Bushwhackers, bro. Come on, dog. The Dudley Boys. What's going on with these people, bro? Like, when you tell me, I'm looking forward to this match between, I don't know, Jeff Smith and and Robert Douglas. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? I can't. I don't know, dog. I'm glad you enjoy it, but I know it's weak by comparison.
That's why I'm happy. Like, I talk about this on my Russell Wednesday thing. That's what happened.
The indie joints.
But there's different, like, the fact that we have options. Like, I think that's one of the major reasons why, like, I can still watch that. If I only could, if WWE was the only option, it would be like a struggle sometimes. But because I have those outlets that I can go to, like, you know what? Let me switch to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Let me switch to Ring of Honor. Let me go down the street, 30 minutes away, and let me watch this indie promotion that we got going on. Like, I just enjoy having those options because it keeps things fresh. And just like you said,
I agree with you. I think that the WWE putting WCW out destroyed the creativity because the competition still doesn't exist. There's other stuff, the smaller promotions, they exist, but like, you weren't just competing to make a name for yourself within the ranks of WWF.
Yep.
Or WCW. You were competing to create a name amongst yourself between both groups. You know what I mean? Like, you were being billed as a reason for a wrestling fan to watch one or the other, to pick sides. Like, WCW and WWF were like Xbox and PlayStation. Like, you need to pick a side. You know what I mean? And you could be a person like, I love wrestling, so I watch them both. You know what I mean? Or whatever. But like, back in the days when you had stuff like DX showing up to another wrestling house, you know what I mean? Like, in a tank. Like, what's serious.
Up? It was serious.
Like some No Limit Soldiers. Yeah, I mean, it's gone because the competition doesn't exist anymore. You know what I mean? And so they're only competing with themselves, and I feel like it has stifled the creativity. And I feel like they're accepting certain levels of mediocrity. I feel like it's mediocre. Like, even if you're talented and you're really good at what you do in the ring, you put in all kinds of years, you jump from indie joint to indie joint and worked your way up and made a name for yourself and whatever. They just accept because you don't have to be creative anymore because you're not really, the competition isn't there in the same way anymore.
It's like they're starting the company to really keep an eye on, and right now is New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now,
but New Japan ain't new.
No, it's not.
I know they call it New Japan. It ain't even close to new.
What I'm saying is, now obviously it's in Japan. So there hasn't, like, for the past, I would say within the last 2 years, there's been more of a presence here in the States for New Japan. As of recently,
the WWE drying up.
So they're starting to have a lot more shows over here. And they're doing, and what they're trying to do is they're partnering with these other promotions, TNA, Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor, and it's creating an entity that inevitably, I don't want to say they're all going to try to combine into one, but they're going to combine forces to try to give you that other option to look at. Like Ring of Honor in New Japan, WWE blocked them from actually putting on a show at Madison Square Garden. So
how so? How they block them?
So I'm not sure I don't know if like WWE said, oh, if you guys let these guys, come here and put on the show, we're not going to come back here or something. I don't know what the behind the scenes stuff was. New Japan and Ring of Honor, they actually ended up still booking the show. And that show is
at Madison Square Garden.
I don't remember if it was at Madison Square Garden. I know, actually, I think it still is, because it's actually going to be during WrestleMania weekend. Now, obviously, this show and WrestleMania are going to be distances apart, but there are going to be those fans, they're going to make that decision to probably go to the New Japan one versus going to the WWE one. Now, granted, WrestleMania is a beast in itself, so it's like you can't really compete with something like WrestleMania.
You can when the two main people who are competing have regular names and wear regular draws and there's no showmanship. Like, and I mean that like I'm not saying that the showmanship doesn't exist at all. What I'm saying is it's so regular now. You know what I mean? By comparison, like, it's not like, even from what the Undertaker was to what the Undertaker became, by the end, like, my man used to come out. My man used to put Bama's in coffins, bruh.
Yeah, that was a thing.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you come out with a manager, like, Bama's had real managers. Like, their managers came out as part of the show. You know what I mean? Like, Paul Bearer was a thing, sir. You know what I mean? Like, it just, when your main event is going to be between this regular dude and this regular dude who just happen to be people who you either like or you sincerely dislike. You know what I mean? But there's no showmanship to it anymore. Like, that's one of the things that I love the most about wrestling is that it didn't pull any punches when it came to how over the top, you know what I mean, it is. Like the characters and the development of the characters and who they are. Like, I can't remember the last time for all of the names and things like that I hear from people, like I can't remember the last time I heard somebody like call out the name of any particular wrestler's like special finisher.
To do like
what is Roman Reigns' finishing move?
I can already tell you now, you're gonna hate it. You're gonna hate it. 100%.
Tell me what it's called first.
The Superman punch.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
Coop is dying right now.
I was expecting anything else.
That's why I say he's gonna hate it. Like, he uses the spear, but the spear is designed to be set up for the Superman
punch. Nobody can spear like Edge, dog. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, maybe that's not true. It's some cats that Goldberg can spear them, but you know what I mean. But at least he was like just a last name. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm freaking Goldberg. I don't. All right. Okay. And who who did Roman Reigns wrestle to become the champion?
Brock Lesnar.
And what is Brock Lesnar's finisher?
The F5.
And what is it?
So literally, picks dude up, he's got you on the shoulders, and literally just takes you, throws you over, and you land like right on your face. It's very simple. Like, if you lift up a person, put them on your shoulder, and just throw them and twist them and throw them. That's it.
So it's like, you know, don't get creative.
Like, the most beloved dude in wrestling right now is Daniel Bryan. What is his finisher?
It's called the yes lock, but to make it easier, you're familiar with the crippler crossface?
It's a crossface chicken wing?
It's a crippler crossface. That's literally what it is.
I mean, look, if you're gonna do something, right, that's like a basic ass move as your finisher, you need to call that joint the Walls of Jericho. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you got
the people's elbow.
Come on, bro.
Was a thing.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's an elbow drop, dog, but he do that joint with such flair.
But
I'm gonna bounce off 6 ropes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even respect you enough to drop the joint on you. I done laid you out so well. I could jump over you twice. You know what I'm saying? And then when I get ready to drop the joint, you have any idea how many times I'm gonna like rile up before I drop that thing on you? You know what I'm saying? Like, when Stone Cold Steve Austin, which basic ass name, Steve Austin, but he's Stone Cold, bruh. You about to drink these brews. My man dropped 1,000 middle fingers on you on the way down to your face, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Like, the stunner is not, it's a basic ass move. But it's not basic when he do it, because it's the Stone Cold Stunner, bruh. And when you do it, listen, nobody, I was just about to say, nobody sold that joint better than The Rock.
The Rock was the best.
That baby would flop like a damn fish in the water, dog. And
backflip off that joint.
Sell my man's finisher. What is going on, yo? Listen, listen. I can't, dog. It's not. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't know, dog. Yokozuna, bro. That's a wrestling name. Rikishi Fatu, that's a regular name. But you gonna say something to him? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, bro. I don't know, bro. Like, this makes me sad, and I know you trying to enjoy your show. We ain't gonna hold it.
Oh, it's
we
all
ain't gonna
good.
hold you no more. I'm hurt though. You know what I'm saying? Like the New Day, they cool, dog. Like they got gimmicks. They coming out. They us.
I love the New Day because you know what? When they first came up with that gimmick, you know it was expected it was going to fail.
It's gonna be
It was
terrible.
expected to fail because originally how they came up with that idea, they were supposed to be. It was almost like supposed to be like some church type gimmick, like what's his name? Xavier Woods was like it was supposed to be like a preacher type thing. Obviously, Big E was like a preacher type thing,
Right.
But then they evolved it into what the New Day is now, and I'm happy. You know, once they saw it work, and Vince and them kind of gave them the free run for their characters to kind of you guys own this, run with it, because I know the amount of merchandise that they sold from the New Day is just absolutely dumb stupid.
Yeah,
Bootios.
Yeah.
People will really buy Bootios.
Are they really eating them though? That's the thing. Don't say it. Don't say it. All right, listen, Coop Coopington.
Yes, Coop Coopington.
Let's talk, bro. Talk to me. What's going on? Let's talk about the league. Let's talk about this. What's
the league, yeah. So I mean, with the news that happened with us not having a Superman, Henry Cavill is no longer playing Superman in the DCEU.
Hey, why you refuse this? Listen, he's not a wrestler. Like, why you refuse to say my man name right? It's Cavill.
Oh, okay.
There's no E in his name. It's not Cavill.
I don't.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't think Coop can pronounce it right. I think that's just the issue there. Just add an extra letter to it.
Cavill. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, but go ahead. Like, go ahead. Like,
so that guy.
Cavill is out.
Yes, he's out.
Yeah. Right. That dude.
And then Ben Affleck is out apparently as well. So, well, there have been reports that
I wouldn't say out, maybe.
Yeah, but they've been saying that for like 3 years.
But he said he was still in it per se, but I know he's having some issues. But there's nothing I wouldn't say is like 100% confirmed yet. But it wouldn't surprise me if they came out and said Ben Affleck is done as Batman. I'd just be like, well, oh well, they've been saying it for like forever. It wouldn't be like a big surprise.
Yeah. So I mean, but with that now, even if that is true, or I mean, like, so where do we go with the Justice League? Is it done? Are we? I want to know. What do we do next? And I remember we kind of talked on it a bit. Like maybe Wonder Woman needs to just run the show. Because I don't see Aquaman doing it. I don't think anybody sees Aquaman do it. The Flash is definitely not going to do it. Nor is Cyborg. We never got a Green Lantern. I don't even know what's going on with that. So Wonder Woman's just going to have to take over.
Oh, she will have no problem running that squad.
Not at all. And it's funny too because we've gotten so many Batman movies. We've gotten so many Superman movies. At this point, it's like we could really scrap those. It's not like we don't know. We know. It's like
I wouldn't necessarily completely scrap. I mean, granted, Superman is supposed to be the face of the Justice League. He's supposed to be, when you think Justice League, you think the Trinity. You think Batman, you think Superman, you think Wonder Woman. So I don't want to say it's not going to be the Justice League without him, but it kind of want to be the Justice League without him. But they could most certainly still be a league without having Superman as the forefront. Because I mean, at the end of the day, let's say it from the standpoint of what the Justice League is supposed to do: protecting the world, protecting the universe from all these threats or whatnot ever. Mm-hmm. Even though Superman is supposed to be quote unquote the strongest of all of them, they can surely take on a task without having them at the forefront. Now, I know you'll have your comic book fans and certain people that will be up and roar because you know what? The man's just not on the front right now. So,
yeah,
I think maybe the back seat would be a good place for the Justice League for right now.
The league or the whole league?
Just Justice League. I think with Wonder Woman coming out, I think Wonder Woman's going to do great. Mm-hmm. Aquaman, I'm a little on the. It looks okay, but I'm a little on the fence about it. But maybe we need to have. There's going to have to be a different direction. I know that it seems like they've been trying to. It's like, here's an idea. Cool, let's run with it. Oh, here's another idea. Cool, let's run with it. Instead of just being, let's get this clear, concise path of where we want to go to.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I feel like they're trying. It's like I don't want to say it's DC. It's kind of the Warner Brothers side of things, and
it's all the same.
Yeah, you get it. But
all the same. It's not. I mean, Warner Brothers and DC have been tied together for so long now.
You're right.
That it's the same. That's the same thing. Like there isn't one you can blame versus the other. And in all honesty, you can't really blame one versus the other. The problem is. The problem is that you can't. The Justice League. There have been rumors that what they were going to try to do is have Superman kind of take a role in these films that was very much like Coulson or like Nick Fury in the MCU, where he kind of pops up in each person's film and maybe gives a little advice or shows up to help out, do something, or something like that, right? Just for the sake, I think, of some level of continuity. You know what I mean? To say, okay, but I think Justice League was a flop. The movie was garbage. So at the end of the day, you might as well say that movie doesn't exist or like it didn't happen, right? So the only thing we're probably really going to see fruition from that movie, I think, is the two movies that are already basically done, which is Wonder Woman and Aquaman. I don't even think we get a Cyborg movie
or Flash.
Or a Flash movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think they could do a Green Lantern movie, right? The question is really, to me, what do you do if Cavill is out and you don't replace him with another Superman? What do you do with Superman for the rest of these films? Or if you do another Justice League movie, what do you say is going on? What story, what plot device do you use to say is the reason why Superman is out? Why he's not there? Why he's not involved in anything that's happening, right? Instead of having like somebody be like, well, yeah, I contacted Superman. He can't make it. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever it is, right? Like the real question is, what do you do about the fact that Superman is out? And how do you write that story? That's really what the issue is in a nutshell. Like Batman, they were going to be able to write off in a certain way, if for no other reason than the fact that within the DCEU, he's old already. Right. You know what I'm saying? They already set that up in Justice League with him being like, look, I'm getting too old for this. Like, I can't keep doing this.
And he could just,
you know what I mean?
Aside.
Yeah.
He can retire, but what it does is it opens the door for, if he's been around that long and we know that Robin was already killed, clearly there's another Robin or somebody that they could pull from. They could do a Nightwing, you know what I'm saying? Or something like that to kind of help fill in that position. They could certainly expand. To me, what you kind of have to do is you have to go, if you're going to do anything Justice League, you have to kind of do Justice League Unlimited. And you have to begin to introduce all these other people. Because technically, you don't need Superman if you have Shazam. So if Shazam is successful, and Shazam might work out. Shazam might just work out. As far as having a powerhouse, a banger, if you have Shazam and you have Wonder Woman, you're doing pretty good.
You got him. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that if DC positions Wonder Woman to be the lead, which is what should happen, especially under the current circumstances, it puts him in the best position going against Marvel, who is clearly setting up to put Captain Marvel in the lead of the next phase of their films. So as long as Captain Marvel goes off without a hitch and is dope, and I think that they're setting this up perfectly. They're going to give you her origin story, and then they're going to show her show up to deal with Thanos. They're going to set her up as like, this is it.
You're the one. You're the one taking control. You're running with this show now.
Right.
Do it.
Right.
Save her.
But it's also, like you said, like the idea of like, oh, here's an idea, just go do that. Here's an idea, go do that. Like there isn't anybody who at least seemed to be at the helm of making sure that there was connectivity and continuity between these films and how they should work. Like,
I have an idea though.
What you got?
So, you guys both familiar with the animated film Apocalypse? These Batman, Superman, Apocalypse, right?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So, and
the Supergirl story.
Yeah, the Supergirl one. So, in that film, you had Wonder Woman wanted to take Supergirl, like, let me train her,
Right.
I think you can kind of use that to this, kind of have something quick with, Batman, Superman, not really in the scene, and it focuses more on Wonder Woman and Supergirl, and you see the training and everything, because they kind of say maybe we could pass the torch to her, and these two are the people we trust Wonder Woman to do this stuff, and then maybe you could bring out Darkseid with that, just like the movie and everything too, and then build that up to have them be.
I mean, yeah. The only thing is, like, when I think Darkseid, I immediately think Superman.
That is true, and maybe this is this could be the farewell movie. You still have Superman in this film, and that could be the farewell for him, and have Wonder Woman and Supergirl as some type of leader. And
I kind of wish they didn't use the death of Superman thing in Batman versus Superman, because I think that could have been a good way. Superman
also,
is
yeah.
dead, and
Agreed.
then you know what, the League has to fill this gap. Like, this would have been the perfect real time to have that whole death of Superman thing go down. Because if he was truly dead and out the way, I mean, hey guys, we don't need to write Superman back in for 10 years or something. Let's just run with the rest of the League and introduce.
They're gonna bring back Doomsday, like he wasn't dead, like he killed him again.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think so. They introduced Slade.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, so he's a threat. He could be a thing, right? Is he a thing for Superman? No.
Nah.
So the question of how they write that off, whether it ends up being like, all right, there's some other thing that's going on, Superman has to leave, Supergirl shows up, Wonder Woman needs to take her. Like, they could use a third Wonder Woman film as the film to introduce Supergirl. You know what I mean? And say, okay, she crash lands here, Superman's not here, so who better to train her and show her what she could do with her powers, than Wonder Woman, and use that as a catalyst to push, a Supergirl film forward, and then really show. I mean, you only have to say technically that she's stronger than Superman, because she technically is stronger than Superman. So you only really have to say it. But the rumors were that, like, they were talking about doing her as like a teenage version. I don't know if that works, but in Supergirl, she basically is. She's a teenager, right? I mean, Superman takes her, and is like, she's my little cousin, and I'm taking her out and taking her shopping and showing her what it's like to, to live this life, whatever. So, and Wonder Woman, at least in this storyline, has been around for a long time. Watching Man could use some help, you know what I mean, or whatever, probably in some way, shape, or form. And for her to pick up the helm and become Supergirl, I think it could be written. I don't think that's a bad idea, Coop. You know what I mean? To kind of use that format. I don't know if you necessarily need to bring in Apocalypse. I think you could, not necessarily Apocalypse himself, but the idea that in that same story, with Granny and Big Barda, like, they can introduce Big Barda, do the whole thing with that, and have them kind of trying to grab Supergirl to make her, run it. Yeah. And then, Wonder Woman has to go keep that from happening, or, something along those lines. Right. So it's possible, because Big Barda's a banger too. You know what I mean? She's not a slouch. I mean, I think that they're
I even think that you could set up an after credit scene where it's like we see Supergirl kind of take the helm of Superman, and an after credit scene of older Bruce Wayne talking about, I guess it's my time too, and you can see him talking to somebody leading up to maybe a Batman Beyond or something else, a younger Batman passing the torch.
Man, I think we'd be a long way off from a Batman Beyond showing up. But I was I was gonna say
that I think you know, that I get that. That's why I thought about that, but that's why instead of saying that, I said, you know, maybe a Nightwing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, or something like that would make a little bit more sense or whatever. I mean, if it's done correctly, here's the problem. I don't think it was a big deal or necessary to do a Justice League movie. I think it was important to try to establish this world and that there are these people in it who have these powers, these metahumans, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they could have done a lot more with Suicide Squad to express, hey, there are these metahumans that are popping up and we need a team in order to be able to combat this or to fight this in case, you know, whatever. And you know, that still is, there's still something there, but I just think you're doing too much when you're trying to make a Harley Quinn film, a Bird of Prey film. You know what I mean? It's just, there's so much going on, and again, there's like no continuity with everything. The new
Joker movie.
Yeah, why are you doing a Joker movie?
Yeah.
It's out of control. It's just it's out of control, and like nobody has reined it in. And so, to me, truthfully, you clear everything else off the slate. Nothing else is a go, and you focus on the 3 films that you have that are born right now: Shazam, Wonder Woman, Aquaman. Let those brew. Use those films, after credit scenes, small things in the film to tie other things. Like everybody already knows these other characters exist within these characters' worlds. You know what I mean? So all you have to do is have small Easter eggs, things like that. Like it's all. If you look at the Shazam trailer, that stuff is sprinkled all throughout. You know what I'm saying? The newspaper clippings from, you know, Superman and, you know, that kind of stuff. So it's just, is it doable? Yes. Can they do a Flashpoint paradox and use that joint to end up somewhere where Superman doesn't exist? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because in Flashpoint paradox, Superman was a frail little tiny dude that they captured.
Yep.
When he showed up, you know what I mean, on the planet, whatever. And it could be that it goes back to almost normal, but there's no Superman, but there's a Supergirl. Yeah. You know what I'm saying, or something, right?
This the one time Flash messes up the timeline that actually fixes things. I mean,
what I'm saying is there's a possibility of doing a Flashpoint paradox and doing it well enough to introduce like a Thomas Wayne.
Yeah,
which would be bananas. They could use it to fix Lex Luthor, which is garbage right now.
Maybe that's the plan.
And you know, it's weird because when they did Batman vs Superman, they had these 2 pretty big name actors to play the parents. So I was thinking like, are they going to use that in the future somehow? Because they were only on the screen for like 2 seconds.
Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne. Sorry, yeah, Bruce Wayne's parents.
Who were they? I don't remember.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan. So of course Negan from
Walking Dead, and then Maggie from Walking Dead.
I forget her real name, but she
Lauren Cohen.
Yeah, Lauren Cohen. So I mean,
they were the parents, and I was like, why would they pick these 2 people to be the parents? You know, like it felt like that could possibly lead up to something else with those actors. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we won't see.
I mean, look. Here's what I think. I think the DCEU is and always was destined to fail. I think they need to find a way to start over from scratch. I don't think they need to scrap the films that are coming because, again, I think Wonder Woman 1984 I still think is going to be good.
Yeah.
Aquaman, I'm still on the fence, but I think Shazam looks like it's going to be good. Aquaman has potential. But it ain't likely. You know what I mean? And to be real with you, to be really real with you, it would not surprise me if somewhere within the next 3 Marvel films we see Namor.
Oh, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
No.
At this point. Especially with the Infinity Stones are all here, and maybe Illuminati type of stuff starts happening. I mean,
I mean, look, the scroll thing. We already talked about that.
Alright,
let's not start jumping on Marvel.
I know because we're going.
Yeah,
That's a
Everything's
rabbit
going
hole.
right.
yeah. we bashing DC right now. We're not gonna jump on Marvel. The DCEU is garbage because of the way that they set the films up. I mean, that's all there is to it.
Shambles. And shambles.
And apparently there's something wrong with the way that it's being handled and the way that it's being run. And whoever it is that they've put in charge of being at the helm, like they don't have a Kevin Feige who kind of oversaw every single one of those Marvel films and made sure that things went right and stayed together. Like the only real casualty of the MCU at all is Terrence Howard. And who cares?
Oh,
I'm keeping it a full stack.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's not that major when in the grand scheme of things, right? But when there has always been talk of you losing who is potentially the biggest actor you have in Ben Affleck as one of the most important characters you have in Batman, and now you've lost Henry Cavill. Wasn't a big name, like he wasn't that special. You know what I'm saying? Like Superman was still probably the most important thing he had done.
Yeah,
right. But now that you've lost the person who is the face
that runs
of the league, or at least it's supposed to be the face of the league, enough of the face of the league that you decided to start this entire thing with his film.
True.
He's your Iron Man.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like you decided to start it with that. So that being the case, and you decided not to do a Batman movie. You know what I'm saying? Instead of doing a Batman movie, you do Batman versus Superman. Like,
oh my bad. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And you do Suicide Squad. Like that's so. And like, where's Will Smith?
But they're already talking about Suicide Squad in production, and I'm like, well, how does that work? What does that mean? Like, you know, like we're getting ready for production, not in production now, but you know, just
who knows? You just get to introduce some more villains that nobody's gonna care
that nobody cares about.
Exactly. Because you have more villains than heroes.
Villains, right?
Not unless they mix that in the Suicide Squad and they meet up with Lex Luthor and Deathstroke like they did, and I don't know. I'm just thinking about it.
It's a lot of things they can do. The question is whether they do them right.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and who they get, and right now they don't have enough focus. Again, I'm gonna say it again. The DCEU's Warner Brothers' biggest problem with what they're doing with these films is they are still trying to make superhero films. And the MCU films are not superhero films. They are films. They are movies that happen to have superpowered people in them. They are love stories. They are political thrillers. They are, you know, galaxy comedies. They're
whatever you want to put in the mix.
They're any number of other movie genres that happen to have superpowered beings in them. They are not superhero films through and through. And that is, for all of what anybody says about Wonder Woman and how good of a movie it was, and it's great because it was, you know, directed by a woman and whatever. The reason why Wonder Woman worked as a movie is because it was not a superhero film. It was a film about a person who was out of place, who was discovering who she was. You know what I mean? It was a love story that wasn't really a love story. Like they didn't turn it into like a sappy,
right?
You know what I mean? Super sappy kind of thing or whatever, or make her weak and need him for some reason or whatever. But the movie itself was not about, it was almost more like a coming of age film than it was, you know what I mean? Than it was a superhero film.
I always said that Captain America and Moana pretty much make what Wonder Woman is as a movie.
Sure. Sure. Is that what you always said? That's the first time I ever heard you say it. I know you for a long time, but I like it. I mean, I like it. I just don't know if you always said it, but I like it. I mean, that's, again, it's kind of a coming of age. You know what I mean? Here's what the deal is. You're coming into your powers. You know, whatever. You're going to learn that and kind of figure that out. and you're going to figure out the importance of what's going on. But more importantly, that film was making a statement about the way we as people, as human beings, treat each other, and the way an outsider might see that, you know what I mean, and views it and views their place in it with the abilities that they have. That's what that movie was. And I believe that that's why that movie succeeded the way that it did. Yes, you had great actors. Yes, it was directed well. Yes, it had good special effects. The end was bad. The end of that movie was bad. The last fight scene was it was bad. It was terrible. Because it turned into Harry Potter, which you know, so it didn't finish as strong as the film was, but the film still did what it did because of all the rest of it. It turned into a superhero film at the very end. It kind of became a Hancock, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. But the movie succeeded because of the kind of movie it was. I think that there's something about what's going on with Shazam in it kind of being a comedy, being a coming of age film. You know, it's about a kid who's has the abilities and so forth of a man and that struggle. And it's about a kid who's in foster care, but who acts out, but really cares about people. Like there's a story there. And I think that will push the success level of what Shazam is. And that's part of why I feel like it's going to be more successful. And Wonder Woman 1984 will be more successful than Aquaman. Because Aquaman looks like a superhero film. You know what I'm saying? Sure, it's kind of going to be a coming of age joint, but you're already old. And you know what I'm saying? Like you're already grown. Yes, you need to take your place as king. Whatever. It could have I mean, we know what the story is. Right. It could be good. I think Black Manta has potential to be a solid villain, you know. So there's potential there. But I think in the end of it, it's just gonna be a superhero movie, and I think that's gonna be part of what its weakness is if they don't find a way to make something else about what's going on in that film more important. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that movie almost needs to be it almost needs to be Gladiator. Okay. It almost needs to be Gladiator. So we'll see. Yeah, I don't have a lot of faith.
The only time will tell.
It's Bad News Brown, y'all. It's Bad News Brown. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is the time where we ask you to do us a favor and drop in the comments what you think should happen with the DCEU. What's going to happen now that Superman's gone? How do you feel about bad wrestling names and bad wrestling moves? And what games you're most excited about coming this holiday? And while you're doing that in the comments, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you're following us across social media. At Loading Snacks is really the easiest way to find us. Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. We're there. We will be at Baltimore Comic-Con in a couple of weeks. So if you happen to see us, by all means, say what's up. Shout at us. Whatever. We're good people. And we love to see y'all and talk to you all. So one last thing, hit the ding-a-ling bell so you get notified every time we drop video. Lotus Snacks Weekly hits every Monday evening. So look for that. With that, guys, y'all want to sign off? Say goodbye. Y'all want to say goodbye?
Yeah, I think we can go ahead and wrap it up.
Goodbye. Okay.
Until the next time.
Okay. Let's wrap it up, bees. I say toodles and loos. We out.